the Positive Friend Podcast. I'm Heather McConochie, registered nurse turned nutrition and mindset coach, podcast host, and inspirational speaker. I have a passion for empowering millennial women because, well, I'm the oldest of the millennials. Think of me like your big millennial sister, here to help you avoid all the mistakes that I made along the way and inspire you to dream big and achieve your goals. Every week, I'll bring you an interview, topic, or Q&A session that will inspire you to transform your body, mind, and soul so you can achieve your dreams and make a positive impact in the world. We believe that when women prioritize self-care, everyone wins. If that sounds good to you, you're in the right place. Are you ready? Let's start the show. Do you struggle with self-love? Then today's episode is for you. Keep listening for tips on how to create more self-love through an easy 5-step process that I'm going to teach you today. I don't know about you, but I feel like every person I meet struggles with self-love to some degree. Some people are obviously not in love with themselves, and then some people seem like they love themselves, but if you dig underneath the surface, you find that it's all like rotten and dark, and like they actually like don't love themselves. Loving the self is really challenging, and I think this comes from many different things in our society and history that have taught us hatred of self, and without getting into all of that, it's really destructive ultimately. The one person that you actually have for your entire life is yourself. So when you hate yourself, when you don't love yourself, you're carrying around this burden your entire life. If you have a fight with somebody or you meet a coworker that you don't like, you don't have to see them ever again. You can change jobs or change friends, but if you hold on to self-hatred, you're going to be carrying a heavy load for all of your life. So my intention today is really to start to free you from that burden by teaching you some simple ways to start practicing more self-love. And this is not just going to be like, take a bubble bath or like, tell yourself you're beautiful in the mirror, although I think you should do those things, and those are amazing forms of self-care. But we're going to dig a little bit deeper to uncover some of the things that could be stopping you from actually experiencing deep and true self-love. The first thing that I want to start with is love is a function of acceptance. I'll say that again. Love is a function of acceptance. If you're struggling with self-love, you are struggling with accepting you for you. So before you try to love yourself, you need to back up. You need to start with accepting yourself. And acceptance is different than love. Acceptance leads to love, but acceptance is different than love. When we start by accepting ourselves, when we fully say, yes, I receive you, Heather, in all your glory, all your darkness, the ups, the downs, the light, the shadow, the good, the bad. When I say yes, I embrace all of that. I accept it. I receive it. Then you are on the path to self-love. Think about the word accept. You accept packages, right? You accept a job. It means to receive something. And to receive yourself is the beginning of self-love. You are who you are. You have a certain genetic code. You have a certain history. You grew up a certain way. Your personality has been shaped through experiences and your genetics, and you are who you are. And to fully love yourself, you have to start by receiving yourself. Like, I receive this person that I have been given. I receive this soul. I receive this personality. I receive this body. I receive this appearance. I receive all of it. So that's really the most important place to start. You must accept the good and the bad, your light and shadow, the parts you dislike about yourself. Only when we accept all of ourselves can we begin the journey to true self-love. Think about a lover. You know, when you first fall in love, you overlook their flaws. Who has done that? Like I have. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute that they just talk on and on and on. Or like, oh, it's so precious. Chews with his mouth open. Oh, he leaves the toilet seat up. No big deal, babe. I'll put it down. You overlook their flaws and you in fact find them cute. Things you would never tolerate in a stranger, you're totally okay with in a lover. And that's because you accept them. You truly, deeply accept a human when you are in love with them. So our task is to practice radical acceptance of ourselves, just like we would a lover. So how do we do that? Step 1, admit you have a problem with self-love. All right, no more denial. If you deny that you have a problem with self-love, and I think all of us have a problem with it, so I think we all have to admit that we do have a problem with self-love in some capacity. Admitting it is the first step, because when we are in denial about the challenges in our lives, we will not change. Think about it. If you are in denial about a mental health struggle, you won't change. If you're in denial about your alcohol use, you won't change. If you're in denial about your health issues because of weight gain, you won't make changes. You will use denial as a coping mechanism. And denial is a very effective coping mechanism at times, but it can become very destructive in our lives eventually. I find denial to be helpful in acute stress, like the first few days of something. It kind of lessens the shock and it helps your brain cope and your emotional self handle what's happening. But I find that denial is not helpful in long-term chronic struggles. That's what we want to avoid. So admit you have a problem with self-love. My second step for you is to get present in your body. Deep breath. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Why get present in your body? Well, so many of us are in our heads all the time. We're listening to our thoughts. Have you noticed how you have a record playing in your head and it says the same things over and over and over again? It's very monotonous, but we listen to that. We actually stop and are fascinated by what our thoughts are saying to us. We're just in the grip of them. And if you look at people's eyes on the streets, you can literally see them listening to their thoughts. They're completely not present to the world. So when you get present to sensations in your body, when you get present to things outside of yourself, you are no longer in the grip of the record playing in your head. And the record playing in your head is completely against self-love. Have you noticed that? The record is never like, you look beautiful today, and you're going to crush all your goals. I know you can do it. Those are the thoughts I have to create and generate, but they're not my automatic thoughts. Most of us have automatic thoughts that are negative. So by getting present in your body, you're going to connect more to your heart space, and you're going to get out of your head. You're going to get into your feeling, emotional body. And you can do this by breathing. So deep breathing, especially with one hand on your heart and one on your belly. It's like giving yourself a little mini hug. And it's a really powerful way to feel connected to your body, feel connected to your breath, and feel connected to your heart center. You'll also feel connected to the warmth of your body and how much heat you're radiating. And I don't know about you, but I associate warmth with love, right? That's a very basic association from when we're babies. Warmth means survival. Warmth means our mother's skin. Warmth means being close to milk, right? Warmth is good. You can also do yoga. That's another great way to get connected to breath and body and get them connected. Meditation. So anything where you're connecting your breathing and your body and your soul and your heart is going to help you on your path to self-love. I know for me, when I started practicing meditation consistently, which didn't happen until I moved to Kauai, it was one of the beautiful things about living on Kauai for a year is I really was able to slow myself down and create new habits. And meditation became one of my new habits that was extremely powerful for me on many levels. Very healing. Number 3, gratitude for self, for body and health, for your achievements, your failures, and your dreams. So if you want to have more self-love, start practicing more gratitude for everything in your life, for the challenges, for the victories, all of it. Gratitude is so powerful because it connects us to all the good things about somebody. You know, when you're feeling annoyed with a partner or friend, it's easy to focus on their flaws or the things that you don't like. But actually, if you start flipping that and you practice gratitude for the things that that person provides in your life, you will start to feel feelings of love. So gratitude helps create feelings of love for self and others. So you can practice gratitude for yourself every day and the things that you're good at. I might say, I'm grateful that my body is strong and healthy. I'm grateful that I no longer live with chronic pain. I'm grateful that I have a mind that works. I'm grateful my heart is healthy. I'm grateful for the friends in my life. I'm grateful for my clients. I'm grateful for my business. Like, you can say the things you're grateful for that you're connected to, and you can also say things about yourself that you're grateful for. Like, I'm grateful I have like straight white teeth. Like, okay. So it may seem a little goofy or silly, but just try it because gratitude leads to love. Number 4. So remember that record that we were just talking about that's constantly playing automatic negative thoughts in your head? I want you to start to notice those automatic negative thoughts about yourself and write them down. You might be like, I don't want anybody to see these. They're horrible. I don't want to write them down. But just do it. Put it on a note section on your phone. Put it in a journal. You can hide your journal. You can burn your journal when you're done with it, whatever you need to do. But it's really important that you write out those automatic negative thoughts about yourself because you will start to become present to how many negative automatic thoughts are running through your head. That record that's playing in your head, it's not nice. So once you start to keep a little record of the thoughts that have run through your head, I want you to pick one of those thoughts out, and I want you to find the evidence for and against your thought. For example, your thought might be like, I'm not very pretty, or you look like crap today. So maybe your evidence is somebody said that you looked tired. Maybe some of your evidence is you looked in the mirror and saw your dark circles. But maybe the evidence against it is 3 people complimented you on your outfit that day. Maybe the evidence against it is somebody that you swiped right on Tinder with told you how beautiful you are in your photos. Maybe your mom told you how beautiful you are. You know, that's the type of thing we want to do. We want to find external evidence that contradicts these automatic negative thoughts. And by finding the evidence against our thoughts, we will start to restructure our thinking. This is cognitive restructuring. And we will have a much more empowered relationship with those thoughts. Because look, the thoughts are not going anywhere. Like, they will stay there. Okay. And I do this with my nutrition coaching clients. I help them start to uncover their automatic negative thoughts that they have about themselves, their bodies, their relationship to food. And by uncovering those thoughts, we can find the evidence for and against them and really dismantle them. But if you don't distinguish your automatic negative thoughts, they will continue to hold power over you, and you will listen to them and you will believe them. Number 5, celebrate your uniqueness. This is one of my absolute favorite things because as I've gotten older, I've really grown to love myself by loving my uniqueness, by understanding that no one can compare to me and I can't compare to anybody else. So when I look at a friend and find them beautiful and like, wow, they're so beautiful, I don't now say, ugh, I wish I was beautiful like them. I look in the mirror and say, wow, I'm beautiful too. I'm beautiful in a different way. And this is what I love about my face, or this is what I love about my body. Like, it's so easy to fall into a comparison trap, but when you compare yourself to somebody else, you're forgetting your uniqueness, which is actually what makes you beautiful. Imagine if we all looked the same and we were just like all walking around looking the same. The beauty of that human that we were all looking like would diminish because part of what makes beauty is its uniqueness. So when you can start to celebrate your own uniqueness, you will fall more deeply in love with yourself. And that's really happened for me. I used to not like the way that I looked. I would talk negative to myself. I would live inside of a story that I was ugly. I had bad acne in my early 20s and I really struggled. And I went through a transformational course in my mid 20s where I realized that I'm ugly is a story that I made up to tell myself because some boy in 7th grade told me I was ugly in the hallway. Like I was like holding on to that story and reliving it. And when I got that it wasn't true and I started sharing it with people looked at me like I was nuts. They're like, you are the furthest thing from ugly. But that was the story that I was living inside of. So that's why it's so important that we notice automatic negative thoughts, that we start to celebrate our uniqueness, because no one can compare to you. And that is really what makes you beautiful. It's what makes you special, and it makes you worth loving. Remember that love is created by action as well. You can actually fall in love with somebody just by doing loving things towards them. This is why arranged marriages can work, y'all, because love is not just a feeling. Love is an action. So when you are like, oh, I fell out of love with the person, well, you probably stopped taking loving actions towards the person. And a lot of marriage researchers have found that it's not about a feeling of love. It's about continuing to do things for that person that communicate love. So that applies to you as well. When you do loving things for yourself, even if you don't currently feel love for yourself, it will start to help you fall in love with you. You don't need self-love first. Start with loving actions. So this takes us to the baths and the self-care and telling ourselves we're beautiful, but you need the underpinnings first. You need the first steps that I talked about. But then you can start to take those loving actions, like groom yourself, take care of yourself, like dress yourself in clothes that make you feel fabulous. Do the self-care. If you were in a relationship with somebody, would you buy them a little gift every now and then to tell them how awesome they are? Cool, do that. Would you give them a card telling them how much you love them? Write yourself a love letter. Do the things for yourself that you would do for a partner, and you will fall more in love with yourself. Ask yourself, what would I do for a lover? What would I do for a friend that I love? And then start there with yourself. And then just keep rinsing and repeating that. Remember to prioritize yourself and what's best for you, not what other people want for you. Because when you discredit yourself and your self's desires, that is a form of self-abuse, which is the opposite of self-love. So it's really important that you not only take other people's needs into consideration. I'm not saying just be like a selfish jerk, but it's really important that you prioritize yourself and your self's needs. Otherwise, you will start to feel an internal anger, which can manifest as depression, and you will struggle with loving yourself. I'm going to leave you with this. Remember that this is a journey. This is not something to get to immediately. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be struggles. But the most important thing is to keep taking forward movement. Keep taking forward action. Just like with our body and health goals, we always want to be moving forward. If this episode helped you, please let me know. Send me a message on Instagram, tag me in a screenshot of the episode, share it to your stories. Let me know how it impacted you. I'm really passionate about this topic because it's something that I struggled with for years, and I'm in a really beautiful place with loving myself now, and it feels amazing. So I'd love to hear your stories of how you have developed self-love for yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you found this valuable, please take a screenshot of the episode, upload it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at Heather McConochie with your takeaway. Also, if you love the podcast, please subscribe, rate the podcast, and leave a review. I read all the reviews, and they mean so much to me. New episodes drop every 2 weeks on Sunday, and I can't wait to get to know you better and share more life-affirming wellness, business, and mindset tips with you. Talk to you in 2 weeks.